and then the addition is pretty cake. All right, so let's go to C. Again, our equation is this. Okay? So C is a phase shift, otherwise a translation. And not English to Spanish translation, but a translation is like we were saying yesterday. Slide to the left, slide to the right, slide up, or slide down. Alright, so translate to the right when C is positive. Okay? So if C is positive, I know this looks confusing. But right now, because of my original default function, C is a positive 2. Because if C was negative and I put this like a negative 2, what would this negative make this into? Positive. You with me? So the easiest way I teach students is that whatever you see with the X, we're going to interpret the opposite. So when I see X minus 2, it almost looks like I should move 2 to the left. You with me? But since I'm with the X, I'm not moving 2 to the left. I'm moving 2 to the right because I'm doing the opposite. Go with me? All right. So this is going to be a horizontal shift, or translation if you want, 2 to the right. And let's say C was negative. And again, I know this looks confusing, but you could have an example that looks like X plus 2. Technically right now, C is negative. Do y'all know what the number is? Negative 2. Because from my equation up here, it's X minus a negative 2. So if C is negative, which is a negative 2, and I'm using this equation, a negative times a negative would become a positive. But again, I teach students this. If you're with the X, just do the opposite. Instead of moving 2 to the right, you're going to shift 2 to the left. So let's go ahead and write that in. So we'll say a horizontal shift or translation 2 units to the left. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph this one that we're moving left in red. Does it stretch or compress? No, everything stays the same. So it'll look something like this. Okay, and then 2 to the right would look something like that. Those are easy, right? It should be easy. Alright, so the last ones. If D is positive, let's say that it was like y equals x, or sorry, absolute value of x plus 4, which way is it going to shift? Up. It's going to shift up. It's a vertical shift 4 units up. Oh, not just 2, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can someone tell me why didn't I do the opposite? Because I'm not with the X. If I'm not with the X, I follow the rule. Okay? And then the last one is, what if D was negative? So it would go down. So you could say something like, when it was absolute value of x minus 3, 1, 2, 3, there would be a graph. And it's just a shift. Cool? Questions? It is a lot, but if you just use the 3 little rules that I'll get to here in just a bit, it's easy to find those transformations fast. Bless you. So are there any questions right now that you have for me? Okay. So now, let's look at your homework a little bit. what was the question that you were a little unsure as far as how to express it as a transformation? Any of them? Because you had like 1 through 10, right? 9. 9? Okay. So number 9 from your homework, did it say g of x was like negative f of x?
Yes.
Okay. So the original f of x was this. That's like the parent function. Okay? So the parent function, like your parent, your mom, or your dad, they're the original ones. You are a transformation, if you will, from them. You have a lot of same features. You might have the same hair, the same eyes, the same smile, but some of you is different, obviously, from your parent. Go with me? So when I'm looking at this, right now, this is the parent function. So if I built it, it would literally be the negative of this. So the negative of the parent. So think about this being, let's say your mom, like the parent function, like the mother function, and then over here, this is you. Okay, you're the alteration, you're the transformation of the parent. Okay? Alright. So you tell me, this is the only thing that's different right now. And it could be your eyes, the color of your eyes. Is it vertical or horizontal? It's vertical. So here are your rules. It's either vertical or it's horizontal. Rule 2 is, what is the transformation? So we'll say transformation and then 3, if it's x, otherwise the x, we do what? The opposite. And the last rule that you need to know is that coefficient of x must be positive 1. So the coefficient of x must be positive 1. Before you do all the interpretations. So it's like this has to happen first. Okay? Alright, here we go. And I'll walk you through this with color highlight. Is the coefficient of x positive 1 right now? Yep, so we're ready to rock and roll. The first thing, is it vertical? So, is this vertical or is it horizontal? It's vertical because what? It's not with the x. What is a negative transformation? What does it do? It reflects. So this is going to be, and I'm going to write it as we go through it, this will be a vertical reflection across what? I was going a little bit too fast, but across the x-axis. Do I even use rule 3? No, because I never had it with the x, right? So my only transformation was that. That means, again, the parent function, where I originally started, your parent, which started right here as this, when you vertically reflect it, g of x, this is you, is down here. Make sense? Easy enough, right? Alright. I'll do one more and then I'm going to give you some difficult ones to talk through with me, okay? What's another one from the homework that you wanted to look at transformations wise? Number 7. What does it say? F of 3 of x. Okay, so this is your transformation. The parent, your mom, she started as that. Okay, so the parent function, we know what that normally looks like by default, right? By default. And now, here we go. Let's go through our steps. Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, because it's with the x. I'm multiplying by 3. So what kind of transformation could it be? Because it's multiplication. It could be a compression or a stretch because it's multiplication. Okay? So I'm thinking, at first glance, what does it look like at first glance? A stretch. It looks like a stretch because it's bigger than what? 1. It's like tripling the height. Okay? So it looks like a horizontal stretch by 3, but we're going to say it's with the x. We're going to do the opposite. So we're going to say what?
Horizontal compression.
Compression by a factor of 1/3. You have to take the reciprocal. Cool? So if I horizontally compress this, will it make it steeper or will it make it wider? If I horizontally compress it, will it make it steeper or wider? Steeper. And my slope, okay, so right here, this is u. At 0, it would be 0. At 1, it would be 1/3. Go with me? But at 3, it would be what? 1. So did I just do, oh, I'm sorry. No one said anything. This shouldn't have been a 1/3. It should have been a 3. Right? So at 0, it's still 0. But at 1, it's what? 3. At 1, instead of being 1, like the original parent was, it's now way up here at 3. Please ask me questions before I give you the multiple transformations. No questions? Okay. All right.